This is Dolynny TV and welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion, guys. Today, if you notice anything a little bit weird, I am under the weather, dealing with something going on in my chest and in my back and in my sinuses and all that. And that's kind of a theme of this discussion, as we're going to get right into, I guess we should be talking realistically about Ken Holland, full autonomy, President of Hockey Operations, GM, reports directly to Bob Nicholson, all that fancy-dancy title stuff. We've already discussed that the past 2 days. Now, yes, we have to discuss priority number one, finding a head coach, all of that. But right now, that is not my concern. Because over the weekend, we had a couple of hockey analysts with TSN, Sportsnet, a couple guys in the States come out and just blatantly throw it out there that Oilers fans are toxic. Okay, this is toxic culture surrounding the Oilers fans, all that, the whole word toxic. And that's a big thing I really don't like, because obviously the points to being toxic, what creates a toxic environment? Obviously, in a sports team, losing generally creates a toxic environment. So right there, ask yourself any further, is there any reason the Oilers fans should be toxic? Yes, indeed there is. The fact that so much losing has gone on and nothing's been done to fix it. Okay, so I get through that. Obviously there's other echoes. Old boys club, failed management, failed players, failed everything, just absolute failure after failure. You seem to be going good, then you just somehow shoot yourself in the foot, kind of Oilers mentality of hockey. Well, guess what? That will create a culture around the team in the fan base that is not overly positive. Yes, toxic at a time, more negative, positive, everything in between. Every NHL fan base is going to have their crazies. Every NHL fan base is going to have their homers. Every NHL fan base is going to have just the same fans any other team has. Okay, that's the point. To squarely say that the Oilers fan base is toxic, nobody should want to go there. Guess what? Go kid yourself. Bruins fans, Islanders fans, guys. We don't need to sit here and discuss toxic without mentioning the Islanders. Leafs fans, Ducks fans, Coyotes fans, Sharks fans, friggin' Blackhawks fans, Montreal fans, and you name it, anybody's got their toxic fan base, and of course their homers and cheer no matter what, and everybody frigging in between. But today was a day in which you come out of a weekend with those questions surrounding the Oilers fan base, and then, guys, the crazies on Twitter showed up to play for the Daryl Katz, Bob Nicholson, and Ken Holland press conference, because we got, an image, a video feed of Daryl Katz, who looks rather rough. And my goodness, I mean, you kind of ask yourself, what's been going on here? We haven't seen Katz really at all for a long while, and I will be the first one to admit I have not been very kind to Daryl Katz in my videos. Obviously, you can go through the comments. I will not hide from calling him the other day a crybaby tax-funded billionaire if he were to move the Edmonton Oilers because fans were too hard on him. Well, guess what? Then all of a sudden, we get to this press conference. He looks absolutely rough. I have mentioned that. And I don't mean this in any insincere way. This is a kind of thing that happens in life, right? You don't see somebody for a while, and then either they look glowing or they look rough, and you wonder what the heck happened. But the fact that the Oilers fan base that makes themselves so prominently heard on Twitter and on social media in general, and maybe this isn't a discussion I should just be having with people online. Maybe this is a discussion we have to have with ourselves as human beings at this point. You don't see a guy for damn near 2 years. Okay, we have very rarely seen Katz over the past 2 years. And all of a sudden we get this image, Daryl Katz, looking as rough as he did during that press conference, not sounding overly great either. And everybody just has a field day. Everybody's asking, actually I'll point to this guy. It's a radio guy I know in Edmonton, not naming names, asks what the happened here with Katz. He has a picture from Katz way back when to a picture of Katz now, and he sits here, and I mean, you get all kinds of comments. I'll skip because he replies to himself and answers his own question with tweets from John Shannon, but immediately from L to R, De Niro, DeFaro, guys, the stuff that comes out of this. This guy named Rob comes in with a comment, physical embodiment of the disaster that is the Edmonton Oilers. And geez, it's just, some of this stuff is just rough. Dude's been visiting Beverly Hills, it seems. Well, guys, this is the kind of toxic culture, the online toxic culture that surrounds the Oilers fan base. And I can get into a lot more, but I don't want to give light of day to some of this stuff that was said, because it's truly open your mouth because you feel entitled to say something about somebody without knowing what's going on. And this is, I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm not saying it's the whole fan base. This is maybe 10%, 20% at most, okay? I'm not sitting here and crapping on everybody. I'm just trying to make sense. As somebody who's said toxic things in the past, somebody who's been a homer for years, somebody in the middle ground that I try to stand myself in every single video, this is exactly what I'm going on. So Daryl Katz obviously is dealing, if you've followed the fallout since the press conference, he's dealing with a life-threatening bacteria-resistant sinus infection over the past few years. He's gone through 3 surgeries, has 1 more to go. And you guys, we've all talked so many things about Daryl Katz over the years, but this is not something, in any estimation, you don't, in any realm, wish death on someone. That is the most basic human-sensical thing to not do, is wish death on someone. And to sit here and have a field day of just kind of making fun of a guy's physical appearance after not seeing him for 2 years, that just gives the whole Oilers fan base, and the fact that it's the owner, a very bad look. And that's exactly to make sense. That's what I'm trying to say. I wanted to make sense of why there's this perception out there amongst the head media people in the NHL, in Canada, and the United States, that the Oilers' toxic fan base would be a reason managers, coaches, and, of course, players don't come to Edmonton. Right there. When you do this kind of nonsensical, boneheaded, idiotic stuff before knowing the facts. And I mean, yes, okay, you know what? Maybe in a perfect world, we would have all had a fan day on, or whatever, field day on Twitter about how Daryl Katz got rough looking over 2 years, and my goodness, it's an embodiment of the team, and we're a failure, and we're a bad embarrassment, blah, 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 and nothing would have come of it. But guess what? This is, to my point earlier, about the whole thing of, you know what, it's maybe not a discussion to have online, it's a discussion to have in real life about just how broken we are as a society, not as a fan base, not as a, no, as a society, that this is the way you treat somebody who makes their first public appearance in 2 years, nonetheless at the most important critical juncture of the offseason, and you don't know the facts. I mean, I didn't know, but I wasn't about to go out there and say, man, Katz looks rough. That's just not something you comment on. Guys, this whole aspect of physical appearance doesn't matter anymore, and then suddenly you have this embarrassing stuff that took place today is just damn near an outrage, considering you want to get to the best point. If you have stuck around for this entire rant, you want to get to the best friggin' point on this. Daryl Katz goes out there with the best line of the press conference, not 10 minutes in, saying the failure, the losing, everything that is to happen with this team starts and ends with me. He owned it. He friggin' owned it. And fans were more concerned about his physical appearance. Okay? This is the ridiculousness that gets us the bad rap. I'm not saying, like I said, it might be 10, 20% of a total fan base at friggin' absolute maximum that did and said what they did today. But it's those 10 and 20% that go out there and get us the bad rap and lead us to believe it's all doom and gloom and it's all this and that. And the fact that, holy crap, this team's just a giant dumpster fire because nobody wants to come here because they aren't smart enough to not open their mouth when they don't know the entire story. It's an absolute disgrace amongst Oilers fans what happened today with the treatment of Daryl Katz after that press conference. I am sorry. Nothing short of a disgrace. Is it all Oilers fans that did it? No. Did you do it? I don't care. It's the fact of how it looks on us after coming out of a weekend where we were questioned about how toxic of a culture we allowed us to surround ourselves as fans. Guys, that's it. I'm Tyson. This Dolynny TV. Make of it what you will. It's a disgrace in my eyes. I am up on out of here.